understand you got to the Mishnah last night.
Yeah.
Need loads of help over here. Whoever wants to put their... Please help. Let's go. The Mishnah tells us that we're going to learn now 4 halachas in this Mishnah. What the first one we've already had. Yeah, the first Mishnah we already had earlier in our periods, I'm sure you all remember. Hayomed b'tfilah. If a person was davening, this is the Gemara. So Gemara.
No, you move this way. You move this way.
I should go here?
Yeah, move down.
Lisa will be sitting here.
Pardon? Is this okay now? It's really good. Okay. So again, the Mishnah on Daf, Kaf base on the base. So the first we had already. Haya, says the Mishnah, Haya Omed B'Tfilah. A person was davening, Shemona Esra, V'niska Shul Balkari, and he remembers that he is a Balkari at this moment in time. Lo Yafsik, he does not stop. Eli Katsa, he shortens, he does the 18 brachas, he shortens all the 18 brachas. That's the first halacha we have in the Mishnah. Second halacha, we had a machlokas. When is Sof Zman Krishma? Do we paskin to the end 3 hours, or is it that you have to do it just before nets? Just before nets. You don't have a large window. Got, let's say, alois, so you can start a few minutes after. You got just under 70 minutes, 68 minutes. You can. That is the time when you have to say Krishma. This is going according to the other. The Tanakhama is going according to him. Litbal. So, okay. Litbal. Im yochel lalos. One second. One second.
You're late.
Okay. So you're a litbal. If you went back down to the mikveh, im yochel lalos lechasas. If he's able to get out and have a towel and dry himself a likros, actually and it's a chamor, because then he's able to do it. Yalav yichasa. Vikara, he should go down and read Krishma. Vim lav. What should he do? Yichas b'mayim. He should cover himself in water, his head out of water, the rest of his body is in the water, v'yikra, and he reads Krishma.
In the water?
In the water, yes.
Without your clothes on?
Yes. Yeah, the water's a cover, correct. Yeah. Women do the women. That's how they make a bracha every day. That's women that have in the mikveh. Yes. Pardon? Yeah. I mean, okay, but okay. B'mayim v'yikra v'lo yichasa lo b'mayim, right? Yeah. So the Mishnah is getting to about mayim. We shouldn't have dirty water. That's the next case of the Mishnah. Lo yichasa lo b'mayim haro v'lo b'mayim rishra. You should not cover you should not do it in dirty water and flax water. This is the third halacha in the Mishnah. The last halacha in the Mishnah is what happens if you've got some dirty water near you. Says the Mishnah, you shouldn't daven before them until you put water in them. And you should keep away from them 4 amas. Let's just see the Mishnah again. The Rashi lo yasik tfilos lo legamri eli yikatza kol brocha v'omer kol ha-brochas b'kotza b'mayim haroim mayim suruchim ad shitin l'sechem mayim v'gemara mefarish maya rami v'ozel mefarish lo b'chusur mechza, because the Mishnah hasn't got the full story here. V'achitani lo yikra ela mei raglaim ad shitin l'sechem mayim. Okay, so these are the 4 cases we have in Mishnah. Now, case number 1 says the Gemara, Tana Rabban Hayamei b'tfilah. If he remembers, if he was davening, V'niska shu balkari, and he remembers that he is a balkari, lo yafsik, he shouldn't stop, and he can't. He makes shortened versions of the brachas. Now, what happens if he is the balkaira? V'niska shu balkari, and he is a balkari. Ein mafsik, he doesn't stop. V'oila el megamgem v'kaira. Rashi says he reads it fast. So if you ever notice, you go to some shores, the bulk goes a bit faster, you close it. Okay. Rameh says, pardon?
What's the oil means? It means like somebody will call up. The oil. What's the oil means?
Ein Masig v'oila, ela megamgen v'kari. He just carries on. No, in the time of the Gemara, the person who used to read was the Balkora as well. That's why. That's what. Like the minig, if you go to the certain shul still in Eretz Yisrael, they have the minig in. No, they have the minig in. Pardon? There was a shul they did it in the Churva. They do the minig and they still come along. If you get the aliyah, you have to read as well, and it's done. But there's a whole.
Tamanim do that.
Pardon?
Tamanim
Do that. There's a whole. The chadorim that they learn. They know Chumash and Nach Balpeh. They learn from an early age. Okay. Silverman's. Yeah, that's one. Okay. Well, no advertisements here. Okay. V'kora Remeh Omer Eino Balkeri. Remeh Omer Eino Balkeri. Roshai Likros, Torah Yos Megimel Psukim. You're not allowed to read more than 3 Psukim. What happens? There are certain places you're allowed to stop, and there are certain places you can't stop. So you can't read less than 3 Psukim. So the Tanna Kama holds you carry on reading until you get to a place where you can stop. Rameir says 3 Psukim. You can do it wherever it is, just stop. Once done 3 Psukim, stop. Even if it's a place where we wouldn't stop. So that's the Machlekas. Tanya Yidich, we've got another brisa. Hoya Omed B'Tfilah, V'roet Tzor Kenegdoi, and you saw some tzor in front of you. Mahalach Lefonov, you walk forward, Ad Shezukena, until it's behind you. Lachorv Dalad Amas, and you go 4 Amas. Because the din with tzor is it can never be in front of you. You always have to go in front of it. So the minimum is Daladams. V'atanu Stadim. We've learned you don't have to go in front of it. You can go on the side of it. Loy kasha, hard efsha, hard loy efsha. If, as Rashi explains, if there's going to be a river in front of you, so you can't do it. You can't walk into the river. But so then you have to go to Stadim. But if you can, lachatchila, you should go forward. Hoyim mispalo. Last case. Hoyim mispalo motzat b'mokemoi. And he found Sar in a place that he should have looked beforehand, not an unexpected place. Even though he did something incorrect, his tefillah is still okay. So I'll ask a Gemara question. If you daven in a place where you could have expected to find it, it's not considered a good thing. It's abomination. Even though he made a sin, his tefillah is a ta'eva. So what's that? It's abomination. Does that mean it's not good or it is okay? He has to redaven. So the Tosfos comes along before we do Rashi, the second last Tosfos. You've davened, but it's a terrible tefillah and you can't do anything about it. You should have checked and you didn't check, but you can't do anything about it. But the Re says, you can go and masakin what you've done right. So Machlokas Rishon. Okay, let's just see the Rashi till then. Megangam b'murutza. Yosem Megimel Psukim could go in base Knesset Yevsha lePachas Kedesnan Hakar B'Tor Lo Yipachas Megimel Psukim. Latanya Listadim Ein Tzorich Lalech Ad Shetei Lacherv the Efsha Leilech Lefonov Yeg Lefonov Ad Shetei Lacherv Lo Efsha Goin Yeshno Lefonov Mistalek Listadim. Okay, so this is the first piece of the Gemara we have seen. If a person was going to daven, he realizes a balkeri. What's the halacha? He should mekatza. If he's reading from the Torah, what does he do is, for the Tanna Kama holds, he carries on and stops at the first appropriate place. Rameir says whatever happens, you stop after 3 psukim. Now we learned if someone was spal and there's a place where he should have checked where there could be some surah and he didn't check, as he was done, he didn't realize they would be there, and he sees it. Then he goes forward 4 amas. Then we had another bride say you can go to the side. We said no. The best thing is to go to the side. You can never daven in front of tzar. I would say a more practical thing. What could happen with we have all our bathrooms. Sometimes people on houses and there's a nappy there with tzar inside. So this could be a thing that, depending on the age, either children or grandchildren. But I'm just saying this is a practical nafkamin could be. So then the Gemara asks a question: if you daven in such a place where you should have checked, and you didn't check, what is with your tefillah? It's a te'eva, and we had machlokus in Tosfos. Can you repeat Shemona Esrei or you cannot repeat Shemona Esrei? Now,
why shouldn't you be able to repeat it?
Because you did something and then it's finished. That's it. You've done it.
Yeah, but I can't be if you done it again, and it would be.
You did a terrible. You did tefillah which was terrible, but you've done. You done tefillah. You've done it. But is it pleasing to Hakadosh Baruch Hu? No, it's not. Torah Bonim. Hayomed b'tefillah. Now here is a unhappy situation. A person, he's got problems with his bladder and he's davening. Or maim shosan berkov. And what happens is some urine goes onto his knee, onto his clothes. So Al-Gir says postek, different some gear says mumtin. Achilchal hamayim, you stop till the can't be too much stops. The chayzer mispal, and then you carry on davening. Obviously, Tosfos brings down is there's a machlokas. How wet can it be? How wet? Because sometimes if it's wet enough, if you touch it and the second object become wet, that you won't be able to daven. And some people hold over in this case is even so those circumstances you'll be able to carry on. So that's the bottom Tosfos. So al bichol potek achichol hamayim v'chayzer mispal leichen chayzer. Now you're up to Rafa'enu. So now at this stage, what do you have to do when you've waited that time? Do you go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei, or do you carry on with the Baruch Aleinu? Rav Hamnun of Leichen Chayzer, Rav Chisda of Rav Hamnun Chad Omer Chayzer Rosh. One says you go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei. Chad Omer L'Mokesh Shaposak, where you're up to Shemona Esrei, that is where you carry on. Let us say this is the machlokas. Ma'asava, one holds im shah kedei ligmar. If you waited enough time that it would take you to daven a whole Shemona Esrei, right? Ligmar is kolom chayzer rosh. Then you have to go to the beginning of Shemona Esrei. Let's say Shemona Esrei takes you 4 minutes to daven. If you were posted more than 4 minutes, then you have to start again. If you stopped enough time to finish the whole Shemona Esrei, then you have to begin at the beginning of Shemona Esrei. Even if you waited such a long time, you can carry on from where you left off. Omer Ravashi, says Ravashi, that can't be Peshat in the machlokas between Rav Chisda and Rav Huna, because it says Lamoshesh Posak. If you are correct what you are saying, the Brisa should have said, right, hi, im shah, im lo shah. The main argument is, did you wait or did you not wait? Miboile. Ella, that cannot be the pshat in the machlokas. Ella, dekule alma, everyone agrees. Im shah kadei ligma eskula. If the Shemona Esrei will take you 4 minutes to repeat your Shemona Esrei, and you waited that amount of time, you have no choice. You have to start Shemona Esrei all over again. Because of Hesed. Here we're talking about you didn't have to wait such a long time. The Mar Sovra, the one holds the Gavra Dechuyahu. That person, since he had a problem with his bladder, he wasn't able to daven, and therefore what he prayed already was not good. Dechuyahu, ve'in royu, ve'in tfilos tfilah. Masechet or Masov, and the other man holds Gavra Chazyahu. He was able to daven and to urinate is only midrabanon according to some people. Therefore, it was a good tefillah of a tefillah, and therefore he goes back to where he was up to. Says Rashi, "De Masava kola bas b'tefillah im shah kedei ligmoy kula chayz l'roish." Gabi Krishma la come on pray. Or Bishah Miflig Hacha. Ha im Shah im Loisha mi boile. Bemilsa de Rav Chisda Rav Amuna mi boile la fluge ben Shah le Loisha. But it doesn't say that. Or midlo iflig Shma minof. So we see from there Afil b'zlo Shah kama. Gavra Dechuyahu, Keshehiskal Ispal, Voyitzarch Lemakav Dechuyahu, Milispal, Hilkoch Mashispal, Ain a Tefillah, V'chaz L'Rosh. Therefore, he has to repeat again. Or Masava Gavra Chazia, Afabisha Ein Yochel, Lahamdin, Achisam, Tefillah, Roihi, or Mashispal Kaim, Shisisol. So, what do we have? We had now the next piece. The Gemara told us someone was davening and he had some urine by mistake. His had a problem with his bladder. We had a machlokas and he's davened part of the Shemon Esrei already. Rav Chisda and Runa, one says he has to go to the beginning of Shemon Esrei, and one said he can carry on where he's up to. And we wanted to think of the question is how depending how long he had a break for. If he and if he didn't, then he can go back to where he was up to. And then we said, Rashi said that can't be the machlokas because the machlokas should have mentioned the word shahar about waiting, but obviously it's not because of that. But it was machlokas. If he waited as long as it would take to repeat the whole Shemona Esra, he would have to. Everyone agrees he has to start again. But here we're talking about, was this person, when he started Shemona Esra, was he a person able to daven, and therefore what he said was inappropriate? If you hold, one other holds, he was able to, he wasn't able to, he wasn't able to, therefore he has to repeat the Shemona Esra from the beginning, and the other one said he was able at that moment in time. Tana Rabbanon. If someone needs to be excused, he should not pray. And if he did pray, his tefillah is an abomination. He's not able to wait the time. And how long is this time? Till a passer, which generally knows 72 minutes. It's not as a question, but then his tefillah is a tefillah. Until a parsa. Let's see Rashi. ועד כמה יוכל לעמד עצמו מן כובד שיהיה מוצא להשכיל בתפילה, מסנה להי במה דבר ממורים במסניסה. גופו, ולא בשמעת את רב זווית ורב יהודה, וכי אינה בישורה הוא דאירי. Okay. Okay. Omer Reb Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Omer Reb Yonasan, Hanitzrach Nekova. If someone needs to be excused, Harizelo Yispal, he shouldn't pray. Mishum Shenema, as the posuk says, Lochen Koi Eser Lecha Yisrael, Ekev Ki Zois Eser Lecha, Hikoin Likras Lekecha Yisrael. Hikoin Likras Lekecha Yisrael. VaOmer Reb Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Omer Reb Yonasan, Man Da'Omer Shomer Raglecha. The person says, watch your feet. Kasher telech, when you go el beis Elokim, to the house of the Lord. Watch yourself so you won't do something wrong when you come to the beis Elokim. Shema atzmacha shelo techta ve'im techta habar carbon lifnei lefanai. Then you have to bring a carbon before me. Then it says the korav lishmaya. And that's the next part. Shmoy raglecha kasher telech el beis lekim v'karv lishmaya mitzeis hakasilim zevach ki eino yodim lansos ra. V'karv lishmaya omer rova have a karv lishmaya divrei chacham. Be careful to listen to divrei chacham. The she'im chaytim, if they make it do a sin, maybe carbon, they have to bring a sin. V'oisin tshuva mitzeis. Yeah, mitzeis hakasilim zevach. And if they do, you're going to have to bring a carbon, like foolish people bringing a carbon. Alti tihikasilim shechaitin or mevi'in carbon. Don't be like foolish people that bring a carbon. Ve'ein osim tshuva, and they don't do tshuva. So if someone brings the chatas to the Beis Hamikdash, and when he brings the chatas, he is not sure. Ki eino yodim lasos ra. And the pasuk carries on. They don't know any evil. Ki Ihachi, if they don't know evil, they're not wicked people or foolish, but Ihachi sadikim ninu. They are sadikim. Ela alti tehikasilim shechaitim. Don't be like foolish people who do sins or mivin carbon, and they bring a carbon. They don't realize what the reason the carbon is. Ve'eni yodim im ala tova hey mevin im ala ra hey mevin. They've got no idea. They just bring a sacrifice to the Beis Hamikdash. Amakash Baruch Hu bein tov l'ra ina mevchinin. They don't know between good and bad. They mevin carbon lofanai. They bring a carbon in front of me. Let's just see the Rashi Shema Tzmachah Shlo Tekla V'tisrag lecha lechas es beis lekim no v'chatos.
Does that mean then the carbon that he's brought is absolutely meaningless?
Probably, yeah, because he's got no idea. You have to normally you have to bring, if you bring a chatos, you have to show it beforehand. He may come along and bring a shlomim. He's got no idea. He's that's understood. Have a karv lishma tshuva babas karbonecha mitachas oisa kasilim below tshuva shemona kavecha. No, I haven't done that. Okay. Rav Ashi learned this pasuk differently. V'yitema Rav Chanina bar Papa Omer Shmona Kavecha b'shas shata omed b'tefillah fadai. Watch your feet when you come to daven in front of me. Okay. Tonu Rabbanon. Hanichnas lebeis hakisei. If a person goes to a bathroom, cholet tefillin b'richik daladamas. He takes his tefillin 4 amas before he goes to the toilet. Now, in the old days, a toilet was like this. You used to have a field, and there were certain places, and a person would be excused on the field, and that, in any place in the field where he defecated, then that would be a beis kisei kavua. Before you get to this place, cholos tefillah barochik daladamas. Take your tefillin off 4 amas. V'nichnas. Omer Rav Acha bar Rav Huna. Omer Rav Sheshes. Lo shonu el beis hakisei kavua. This is only talking about a beis hakisei which is kavua. Aval affix. Aval beis hakisei arai. But if a place where a personal occasionally urinates, things like that, that does not have the same halacha. Today, nearly all our bathrooms don't have a din or beis hakisei kavua because normally when you leave, the toilet is flushed and it goes away. So it's not. There are some heterim. We'll speak about it. What a person goes to a urinal, if you're allowed to go to tefillin shel rosh there. We'll speak about it soon. Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Sheshes, Lo shana ela beis hakisei kavua. Al beis hakisei arai choletz v'nifna la'alta. He goes straight away. He doesn't have to take off 4 amas beforehand. Just before he's excused, he takes the tefillin off. Now he's been excused, and therefore there is sayah there. Therefore he's got a problem. He's got a din of basic knesset kavua. Therefore, what he do is he has to go away 4 amas. Kshu yoytze merachak daladamas. By doing the act, he's made this a basic kavua. Iboilahu. They ask a shaila. Ma'ushi kones odem b'tefillin lebeis hakisei kavua. Lahashtin ma'yin. Can you go into a beis hakisei, which is kavua, but all you're going for is to pass water? Ravina said it's permissible. Rav Acha bar Masna also. Rav said it's also. Also Shaila to Rava. Then they went to ask the same Shaila to Rava. Can you do it? Amanu also. Chashina were worried. Shema Yifana Behen. Maybe a person will blow winds when he is there. Pardon, sorry. One second. Shema Yifana person. Sorry. One second. Let's see Rashi straight away. Okay, yeah, sorry, go. Basically, Russian going to say exactly the same thing on the basis. Remember, so basically, Sheyesh Abai Soya, V'chol Bati Kisas Shubigmara, Abnei Hasodahem below Chafira. Arai Shazeh Maskal Achshav Lasas Besakise, Choles Novel Alta V'yachas Tefillin B'Yoder Kedamrin L'Kamon Ku Nami Eichten B'Yoder Ela Shetzorich Lachles B'Richik Dalet Amos Shebizman Shehem B'Roshei Hem B'Golu V'Gnai Hadova. Ma'ij Yikonas B'Tfilov Kashein B'Rosh Kama. Shema Yifana Bohen Gedolim. Okay, so one more time. I said incorrect pshat. So let's see the Gemara again. Iboilahu. Boilu. My shikonis odom tefillin lebeis hakisei kavua lahashtin mayim only to pass water. Ravina shori Rav Ada ba Masna also shayla Rav they asked Rav Amalu also chashin Hashem yifan behen va'omer la Hashem yafiach behen. And that's why the next. Okay. Tanya idach hanichnas lebeis hakisei kavua. If a person goes to a basic kavua cholis tefillin berichik daladamas with 4 amas or manichim bechaloin. And that little window seals or ledges, and that's where you leave the tefillin. There's 2 sides. There's the side of the toilet. There's the side of Rishus Harabim. You should leave them in the side of the Rishus Harabim. V'nichnas u'kushu yotzi, and when he goes, yotzi merchak dal damis goes away 4 amas or manich, and then he puts them on again. Divrei Beis Shammai. It's going to be very important. Remember, Beis Shammai holds you're going to have to dalet amas. No way ever to be seen anywhere near a basic kavua. Or Beisil Omim, Oichsin Biyodoi, you're actually allowed to go into the basic kisei holding there. V'nichnas Rabbi Kiva Omer, Oichsin also bebigdo, you hold it with your clothes, V'nichnas bebigdo, and loosely with your clothes. If you hold it like that, it's going to fall. Hold it properly with your clothing, or v'yoda v'nichnas, or menicha b'churin. V'yoda v'nichnas menicha b'churin asmuchin lebeis hakisei. V'lo yanich b'churin asmuchin l'shus rabim. Shem yitlu oisa ov derachim v'yovid l'dei chashad. And what happened is they're going to be stolen. The tefillin are going to be stolen. Therefore, we'll see where to put them. There was a story that happened, as it says the Gemara, Ma'aseh b'Talmud Echad, Shenich Tefillah b'Chor HaSmuchin Rishus Harabim, and Obas Zayna Achas v'Not Loson, and she took it. She knew who he was, and then she was trying to sell them. She said, this guy had fantastic tefillin, ala churmas that you can think about, and so she wants to publicize. She wants to get the full market value. And she said, for my services, this is what I got paid. And he couldn't take the embarrassment, which was not true. He went to the roof and ran and fell down. And then they changed the takana from there on that you go to the holding. Let's see, Rash now. Min shechnas between kshein kova shemifana b'churim asmuchin lebeis hakisei lifnim min hageda besoda shehu nofa ba noistin b'churim shebekaisel b'churim asmuchin rishus harabim b'churim kaisel b'mechitzos hasoda she'ein achborim mitzuyin b'makim hilkach b'nei adam v'hu yikonas l'cher hageda lifnes. Okay, Ton Rabbanon Brishona. They used to put it on the side where you were excused. And then Achborim came along and took them. And then they decided the only way out is you should take your tefillin with you to the Beis HaKisei. Rav Misha, Reidrim Shubin Halacha Golim Kamin Sefer. When you go, what are you going to do with the straps? The straps also have kedusha. Therefore, what you have to do is you fold them up, probably similarly the way we fold them up to when we finish with the tefillin. And you hold it on your right hand side. Connect the libo by the heart. Amar Rav Yosef Bar Minumi, Amar Rav Nachman, Uvad Shelo Tehei Ritzur Yotze Mitachas Yodo Tefach. And as long as the Ritzuras don't go away Tefach. Amar Rav Yaakov Bar Acha Amar Rav Zera Lo Shana Elo Sheyei Shos B'Yom Lavoshim. So only if you've got hours in the rest of the day. So now here, now we're changing from the basic kisei. What happens when you go home at night? If you wear your tefillin all day, what do you do? What does one do with it? And you want to put them on the ground because people didn't have loads of closets. One makes a little pouch, tefach, which try and put the airspace to be a tefach, or manichon, and you put them away. Omer Rabba Bar Rav Chana, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, B'yom Golin K'min Sefer, Umanichim B'yodoi Kenegdil Liboy. Or V'layla, exactly what we had beforehand. Or V'layla Oisen Lehem K'min Kis Tefach Umanichim. Omer Abaya Lo Shonu Ella B'Kli Shehu Kalon, that he was talking about, which is the keli that they used. Aval kli she'ena kalon, it's not their keli. Afila pochs mitefach, it can even be less than tefach. Omer mazutra v'temer Rashi teda shahari pachim ketanim matzilin ba'ol hames. We know what's the halacha if a person's got if a person's oil hames, and if you've got a keli and you've got it covered with earthenware. Even if there's a mace in the building, then it will save the kalim inside, even if there's less than a tefach to the top of the keli. Masha'en kain, if you put it in a somid posel, if you put it inside the clay itself, then it won't save the keli inside. Mishnah, I think, in Olis. Pardon?
I think it does.
Pardon?
It says if it's got a atomic postle, even if the key is less than tefach,
Even if it's less than,
it will prevent the tumah
correct.
penetrating.
But if the keli is inside the tzomid posel and there's no air at all, then what? Let's see the bottom Tosfos. Shasaka k'tan matzilim kol b'ol hametz v'al kolchem et ma'at avehu di'i lesbu aveh klal lahoyu matzilim dahavik k'moi oichlen shebegvolim betit shebekam tumah b'ol hametz. So if it's a tzomid posel, you've got an earthenware keli, and then you cover it with earthenware. So even if there's less than a tefach airspace, everything inside will be saved. But if it's in the tzomid posel itself and there's no airspace, then it will become tommy. That's the taste. Okay. Shapach netanim matzin ba'ol hames. V'omer Rabba Rav Chana ki hava azlin b'asrei to Rabbi Yochanan ki. Let's just catch on Rashi till there. Shelo teitzu rutzu sheyesh ba kedusha shai bahen hu koshrin v'kesher. Now he's just going to tell you how it works. V'kesher nira bas yosna kimin dalas al shem achas ma'osis shel sharkai v'hashin, also because la hakitzitza hachitzona v'hayud oisen b'roish rutzu tefillin shel yad v'rutzu katana moed kofa roisha v'niras kimin yud v'oichsim b'yaminoi shelo b'bigdoi Kedei shelo yipilu. B'yom shehu choltzin b'shvil beis hakisei golin k'min sefer k'damrino. V'layla shehu choltzin b'beisoi al manos lasir al haboka oisin lehem kis tefach. The chalal tefach chashiv kli oil lahavsig bein on the karka. Lo shonu the boy tefach ela b'kli shehu Kalon, Kis, Asui, Lutzachim, the Kalon Korov, Leo's bottle Etzlam, Hilkoch, Beinon Dova Hanika, Shehi Chaytz Bifnem. Shay Pacht Katan Matzilim, the Hekib Tomid Posel, Boel Hames, Vav Al Gav, Lo Hava Tefach Chaytzilim. So now, interesting, I saw there was a tshuva from someone asked, I think the Rashba asked the question, that you have to have it, the tefillin have to be sealed in something with a tefach. If it's something which is closely just covering it, that won't be good enough to be a cover for the tefillin. And they asked, the Gemara in Shabbos says that if a person wears a, it's called, it's got the Shem Hashem inside, and they wear it for protecting a kameah, you're allowed to go into a toilet with it. The Gemara in Shabbos says. The question is, there's no airspace, it's completely wrapped around, and I asked the question, how are you allowed to go? If it's got Shem, Hashem, things like that, how are you able to go into a bathroom on Shabbos? From this
So the batim which we have today on the tefillin, would that be matzil or not?
The what?
The batim.
No, I don't think so.
Because they're talking about it completely without it.
Yeah. I mean, so our toilets, how we go in. I'm not. They say the Meister Reb Shach that he went to a place with Nile and he came along with his tefillin and he put them underneath his clothes to able to go. Someone told me. Okay, let's just see what halachas we can take out from what we've seen in this Amud. A lot of let's just see. Maybe start from the last time. Let's wow, quite a lot. Okay, the Gemara starts, if a person needs to be excused, he shouldn't daven. But if he can hold himself back for 72 minutes at Passover, he is able to daven. Which is the Gemara says a Passover. And then we brought some Pesukim down. Let's give that. And then the sugya starts. The Rabbanan said if a person goes to Beis HaKisei, he has to take his tefillin off 4 amas before he gets to Beis HaKisei. Rav Huna says we're only talking about Beis HaKisei Kavua. But if a Beis HaKisei which has never been used yet, then he comes along, he gets to where he's going to be excused, he takes his tefillin off there, and then when he leaves, he has to go back 4 amas and put his then he can put his tefillin, because now he made it a Beis HaKisei Kavua.
Even one usage imparts the status of a Beis
Yeah.
HaKisei Kavua. Even one usage.
But it's a place that you can't put tefillin on because the so there you have to go
There's
with
already
Daled
precedent.
Amas. Yeah.
sold
I mean,
the
once,
Beis
only one
HaKisei.
time. There they
I mean,
stopped us
Rashi
at-
brought down. We saw the Rashi.
Beis HaKisei.
Rashi said,
It's
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
you
so.
obeyed them because there
Yeah.
was no flashing. So therefore it becomes a kavod because it's so it stays there.
then we had. And now, what happens if a person then wanted to shine? Well, if a person wants just to urinate past water, was he able to go on with his tefillin? So we had a machlokas. Ravina said he was allowed. Rav Acha Master said he was not allowed. Then they came to ask Rava, and Rava said he's not allowed because we're scared that he may come to be excused. Then what happened is the halacha is that a person, when he goes to the bathroom, he should. At 4 amas, there used to be a place, a window in the hall, like a window shelf that you would leave your tefillin there. And we had a question: where should you put them? Should it be on the side of the street where there won't be achbarim? Should you put it on the side where you are? So at the beginning, they first told you to put it on the side of the street, and then there was the Maisa where this lady took it and this person committed suicide. So they didn't want to put it on the other side because achbarim. So then they came along and they said you can bring it in with you. And remember this, just for Omid Beis, really important. This all going is going to be the shitta of Beis Hill, because we saw Beis Shammai says you're not allowed to go into a bathroom with your tefillin. And then the Gemara finishes up. When you go, the Ritzuas have also got a din of kedusha. Since the Ritzuas have got a din of kedusha, therefore you have to wrap them up. And at night you can put them in a if you want to leave them on the floor. We didn't have as much space as we're going to see later on. The next stuff is that when you go to sleep, maybe the best place is to put them under your pillow. You're going to be allowed to put your tefillin there as well. But here we're going to tell you is that you can put them on the floor as long as it's a tefach in order to be a mokum kovet. V'omer Rabba Barav Chana Ki hava azdina basrei Rabbi Yochanan. When we used to follow Rabbi Yochanan, Ki hava boilemei lebeis hakisei, and he had to go to the bathroom. Ki hava nokit sifra dagatza haviyovin lon. He used to say, "Please hold my sefer." Ki hava nokit tefillin. But when he went with his tefillin, lo haviyovin lon, he didn't give it to us. He took it into the bathroom. Amahol v'sharin rabbanon. Since the rabbanon have allowed me to have it, Nitron, it will guard me. As Rashi said, it will save me from the mazikin. The same story happened on Morovaki Havazina Bas Raider of Nachman. When I used to go after him to the with Rav Nachman, you have a knocket sifra dagadza. If he had a sefer of agadza in his hand, Yovin Lon, he used to give it to us. Ki have a knocket tefillin la Yovin Lon amahol v'sharina rabbana. It's going to protect us. Okay. Now here, the next piece of Gemara, we're going to have to try and hold cop. There's going to be a few statements, and there's one particular statement we're going to have to remember. We're going to have afterwards, we're going to see who said this statement. We're going to have a machloikas. Is it Beis Shammai? Is it Beis Hillel? And we're going to ask a shayla it, and we're going to ask a shayla. Okay, let's not have too much in advance. Let's start. Tona Rabbanon. Lo yechaz adam tefillin b'yodai. A person shouldn't hold tefillin or a sefer Torah b'zroya in his hand v'yispal, and he davens because he's too nervous and he may drop it. The bit that we really need is the next level. V'lo yashtin behen mayim. And a person should not be excused probably wearing his tefillin. Pardon? Pass water, yeah? Because this is the bit that we have to remember. This is the bit we're going to ask questions on. V'lo yashtin behen mayim. Now we've got another thing. V'lo yoshin behen. You shouldn't sleep with your tefillin. V'lo shinas keva. Not a permanent sleep. V'lo for the night. V'lo shinas harai, and not as a nap. It says, Omar Shmuel says, the same thing applies to sucking. If you've got a knife, you're nervous, you may drop it, may you injure yourself, or mice, and you're scared you're going to drop the money, the kara, or if you've got a plate with food on, the kicker. Hari elu kiyotze behen. These are all the same. We're scared. When you daven, don't hold them, because you won't be able to concentrate properly. Let's see the Rashi till there, and then we'll come. So lo yachas biyodo v'yispal she'ein datam yusheves olav b'tfilah shahari libo tomid aleihem shelo yipol miyodo v'lo yishon behen shema yafiach. That if you look at the Goin has shema yipol. Maybe they're full. Hari elukiyotz behen le'inyan tfilah shedoeg aleihem. You're very nervous. Shelo topol hasak v'tizkenu. Tishbach, you'll lose the money. Okay. So again, in this brisa, what we're going to have is: are you allowed to go to the bathroom? Says the Gemara, Omer Rava. This is the statement of Rava. Omer Rav Sheshes. Rava said the name of Rav Sheshes. Les hilchasa ki hai masnisen de Beis Shammai. This part of the Mishnah is going according to Beis Shammai, D'i Beis Hillel, because if it's Beis Hillel, Hashta Beis HaKisei Kavua Shari, and you come to Beis HaKisei, which is a fixed Beis HaKisei, are you allowed to bring your tefillin in according to Beis Hillel? Yes. You're allowed to bring it in and hold it. Beis HaKisei arai miboya. Do I need to be told that a Beis HaKisei, which is much more lenient, of course, and it's so much more lenient, I'll even be able to wear your tefillin. It can't be Beis Hillel. So again, one more time. Omer Rava, Omer Rav Sheshes, Les Hilchasa Ki Hai Masisin de Beis Shammai. He, Rava, in the name of Rav Sheshes, wants to say this Mishnah is going according to who? Beis Shammai. The Beis Hillel, it could go Beis Hillel, it can't be Beis Hillel. Hashta Beis HaKisei Kavua, if I have a Beis HaKisei which is a permanent, sorry, Beis HaKisei Araimi, boy, of course I'm allowed to do it. Meisvei, Devorim Shetati Loch Kan, Arsati Loch Kan. There are things that I allowed you to do in one, I didn't allow you to do it over here. This is the akasha. My love, tefillin. Can we say we are talking about tefillin? So what happens is, the Brachot said like this, I'm going to tell you, he wants to suggest, there's something that I know you can do in one case. In one case it's going to be mutter, and the other case it's going to be osa. So let's say the Gemara outside. The Gemara is going to tell you like this is, if I understand this is to be Beis Hillel, our brisa over here, it's Beis Hillel, I can understand it. Do you know why? Because Beis Hillel comes along and tells me, in a Beis HaKisei Kavua, which is much more strict, what's the halacha? You can bring your tefillin in. But over here, in our brisa, our Mishnah, what we are told, you're not allowed to wear your tefillin. So that makes a lot of sense. Is even though in logic dictates, if you can, in a Beis HaKisei, which is Kavua, you can bring your tefillin in, of course you can bring your tefillin in a Beis HaKisei, which is just arai. So, and that's what, and he's going to say, I've given the Kavchem as well, so let's see one more time again. Omer Rav Sheshes, let's look at the key high masters. The Beis Shammai, because it's Beis Shammai. The Beis Hillel, Hashta Beis HaKisei, logic dictates, even the Beis HaKisei, which is Kavua Shari, Beis HaKisei arai, boy, do I need to be told that? Meisvei, Dvorim Shetati Loch Kan, Osati loch kan. My love tefillin. It must be tefillin. I omad bishloma beis Hillel. If this is beis Hillel, I can understand it. Hitati loch kan kavur. I allowed you to bring in your tefillin into a beisa kisei, which is kavur. Osati loch kan. But over here, which was just an arai, I didn't allow you to bring your tefillin. But if I tell you this is Beis Shammai, hello shoru v'lo midi, I'm not going to tell you anything. Of course you can't bring your tefillin. Of course you can't bring your. If I'm telling you at all, because he doesn't allow you to do it. Hello shoru v'lo midi in those circumstances. So let's see the Rashi up to now. So the Rava says this statement in the name of Rav Sheshas that this Mishnah is Beis Shammai and it's not Beis Hillel. Okay, let's see Rashi till here. Beis Shammai da'omri le'el manich b'chaloin hasam el chushrame v'lo yikones b'yodu. Di Beis Hillel ha'omri le'el oichse b'yodu v'nichnas. Beis Hillel says you're allowed to hold your tefillin and come in with that. Beis HaKisei, right? Could go in lahashtin she'ein adam hoilech b'shvilom lebeis HaKisei v'apam hazos nasa hamokim hazeh Beis HaKisei tchila. And here, when he's excused, this is going to make it into you're going to cut the ribbon when you excuse them. She'tati loch kan bebeis HaKisei kvur osati loch kan Beis HaKisei arai. My love at tefillin she'omru Beis Hillel oichsim b'yodoi v'nichnas lebeis hakisei kavur lahashtin behen osru k'mefarish time. Come on, now we're going to explain when we come to the end soon why there's going to be a difference. Why Beis Hillel? It's going to be if it's going to be Beis Hillel. Why he was machmir? Halo shorib Beis hakisei kavur. So we're going to ki tanyahu lav tefillin tanya. Now the Gemara is going to change for a minute. We're going to go off base. We're going to think it's nothing to do with tefillin. We are going to come back to tefillin again, and it has to do something with tefillin. We're going to come along about something else's. There's a hilchas nias. The way people dressed was different. They used to wear more like a skirt. And when a person was excused, we're going to be telling you the halachas, how much you're allowed to reveal a person. When a person is passes water, he's going to be able to reveal his body to tefachim. When a person goes to the bathroom and he has to make number 2, he will be only allowed to megala 1 tefach. And we're going to say this is going to be the case where in one case it was mutter and the other case it was asa. Pardon? No, nothing to do with that. Nothing. Let's just don't think about kavur. Nothing to do with kavur. We're going to. It's just. And that's why I said it's going to just a little bit. We're happy to discuss this for a few minutes, and then we're going to say this is not going to be the case as well. But let us see what the case is, and we're going to come back to the original. Okay. So so what we want to find the case is something it was mutter here or satiloch kan. So the Gemara says, "My love tefillin." If you told me it was Beis Hillel, we understood it because Beis Hillel they muttered you something in a kvua, and they came along and they asked you something which was an arai. That makes sense. Kan b'kvur or satiloch kan Beis HaKisei arai. Ela iyom Beis Shammai halo shori v'lamid. They didn't allow you in any case anyway. Ki Tanya. So we're going to change it for a bit. Hayin netefach or tefachayim. Tani, we're going to have 2 brises. Chada kashur nifna, when a person's excused, megala lachirav tefach, he can reveal himself from the back 1 tefach, or lefanov tefachayim, he can reveal himself 2 tefachayim. And we're going to think at the beginning that both is going to talk about men. V'tani idach lachirav tefach, and we've got another brisa, he can reveal himself at the back 1 tefach. Olafonov loklum. When it comes to the front, he can't reveal himself anything. My love, don't we think idi ve'idi be'ish? Both these brises are talking about the man. V'lo kasha, and it's not kasha. Kan l'gdolim, kan l'ktanim. When does he have to reveal himself in the front? When he's doing ketanim. But and when he does gedolim, then he just reveals himself from the back. So the first brisa, which is talking about he reveals himself from the front and the back, is talking about when he's doing ketanim. And when does he reveal himself just from the back? When he's doing gedolim. V'tizbra. Can that be the case? That he can reveal himself from the back and the front, even ketanim, if he's just urinating, doing ketanim, why does he have to reveal himself from the back at all? Lachar of tefach, lomali. What does he have to do it for? Ella, must be that is not the case. Idi v'idi begedolim. Both these brises are talking about he has to be normally excused. Idi v'idi begedolim. V'loi kasha is not kasha. Ha be'ish v'ha be'isha. So when a man is excused, he reveals himself. The Rashi is going to point out is sometimes when he makes gedolim, he may make ketanim as well. So therefore, we tell him to reveal himself from the front and back. The other case where just a tefach is talking about a lady. Ha be'isha. Hachi, says the Gemara, if that's the case, ha diktani. That I'm going to have another problem. There's another bit of the brisa which we haven't told you yet. We told you part number one is there's going to be a case which was mutter in one case and it was going to be osir in another case. Now we're going to tell you another thing which was said in this brisa. Zeh kal v'chomer she'ein lov tshuva. There's going to be a kal v'chomer which you will not be able to have an answer. My. Now what is the case? Ein lov tshuva. What is the case you won't have an answer? Darka demilsa. This is the normal way, achi. The normal way is, this is the way a person is going to be excused. There's no kal v'chomer coming out of here. This can't be the case. It must be back. We're going to go back to tefillin. Okay, so let's summarize and then we'll see the Rashi one more time. So what do we have is, you know what, let's see the Rashi and then we'll summarize what we've had so far and then we'll finish. Won't be enough time to finish. Yeah, okay, no, we're going to have to go to depending on the 2 dots more, okay. Okay, let's see Rashi. Kitane hin lav le'inyan tefillin t'nich el le'inyan goli tefach v'tefchaim v'gedolim eina megala ela tefach v'lektanim megala tefchaim v'olo koi goli tefchaim shetati loch kan osati loch kan la'achariv tefach v'lo yoyse mishum tznius lefono tefchaim mishum kiluch meraglaim hanidlim. So you're going to have droplets which are coming out. Therefore, you need to have you have to have 2 tefachim. My la behind the komeleil dvorim shetati loch bebeis hakisei arai asati loch bekvos. So up to here we're very happy. Do you know what you're going to have a heta in a beis hakisei arai? You're going to be allowed to reveal yourself 2 tefachim. In a beis hakisei kavua, how much are you allowed to reveal yourself? Only a tefach. But in arai you're going to be able to do tefachim. Sometimes when you make gedolim, who bali de ketanim hilkach beish ma'achariv tefach ul mafanav tefchaim or beisha melafneha v'loy klum v'achi kama hard leil dvarim shasati loch beisha hitati loch beish. So something which and the spin something which I allowed you to do with hitati loch beisha I allowed you with a man. Ihochi leil tefach u'tefchaim tani dvarim shetati loch kan or sati loch kan. Haditani lo b'seifdi day. On this price we had zehu kal v'chomer she'ein lo tshuva. But davar hazeh yesh loch lashbeini kal v'chomer ve'ein li lo tshuva. I'm going to ask you a refuted question which you will not be able to answer. Lahatzeloch I omres b'shlom tefillin. If I'm going to tell you it's going to be about tefillin, kama kedamrin or beisil he hind the kama yesh kan lahakshas kal v'chomer. I'm going to be able to answer your kal v'chomer. What is the kal v'chomer going to be? In a case, if it was Beisel, when he allowed you to go to a kavua, he let you bring your tefillin in. But now you're coming to a Beis HaKisei, which is Arai, he does not let you bring your tefillin in. Kavachama hashta Beis HaKisei kavua, sorry, Beis HaKisei Arai mi boya, ve'en li tshuva lashbicha. halav. Ela I omras le'inyan tefach u'tzchayim, mai kal v'choyma, yesh lahakshis kal. How are you going to be able to answer kasha? What we're telling you is what it is. There's no kal v'choyma here. Hochi, mein lachot shavadaka de milsa hochi. Ella loved tefillin. It must be talking about tefillin. V'tshufta de Rava, and it's a kasha and Rava Omer of Sheish tshufta. This is a tshufta, and therefore the Mishnah is not Beis Shammai, it's Beis Hillel, because it doesn't fit in. We want to put it into why is it Beis Shammai? Because we had to fit in two things. Number one, we had to have it in a case where it's mutter, and a case I made it osa. That's the basic issue. And I've got kal v'chomer. What is the kal v'chomer? The kal v'chomer is if in a base of kisei kavua, a normal a toilet which is used the whole time is osa. When I use a toilet arai, it should definitely be mutter to bring tefillin in. So now we said mikol mokim kasha hashta. Let's try and understand what's going on over here. How can it be that a beis kisei, which is kavua, hashta beis kavua shori, you're allowed to bring your tefillin in. Beis kisei arai lo kol shkein. You're going to have to be able to bring your tefillin in. Hochi kama, he said like this is beis kisei kavua deleken it tzotzes, when a person is excused, yeah, and the notes, you don't have to come along. Rashi explains you won't have to come along and wipe yourself, because there was a chashash in those days is if you come out of the bathroom and people see on your shoes or around you some droplets, they go, this guy has got problems and all his children he has are mamzerim because he can't have children. Therefore they were very stringent. After you went to the toilet to pass water, you cleaned yourself with your right hand properly. Therefore, you can't hold your tefillin in your hand. Therefore, there happens to be a side reason. Basically, it's good. V'leken itzotza shori beis hakisei arai. But when you come along with a beis hakisei arai, beis hakisei arai, de'ikin. One second. Beis hakisei kavur deleken itzotza. When there's a shori beis hakisei arai, de'ikin itzotzas. Oh, sorry, they didn't let you come in with your tefillin. But Agav, the Pnei Yeshua, asked the question. He says, it's obvious that the truth is, if we said when you go to Rashi explained that when you go to make number 2, you may be excused with passing water as well. So how can you wear your tefillin? Because you may have to clean yourself if you may come with the same chashash. But you won't have the same chashashes, because since you're sitting down, everything goes backwards. And therefore, there's no problem with between your legs. Therefore, even although Rashi pointed out that when you're excused, that you may come along to pass water as well, we're not going to come along with this problem. Right. Sorry, basically, right. The ikan it says also ihachi amai ein lov tshuva tshuva mahal yasoi. You explained the circumstances very well. So why are you telling me this is a I'm explaining the reason what is happening. The kal v'chomer, if I would tell you a toilet which is arai, and I tell you a toilet which is a kavua, and I tell you that you're allowed to bring your tefillin in one, not the other, I'm going to ask you a kal v'chomer. It does not make sense. And when we use the form of kal v'chomer, that cannot be disputed. Here, it's not got to do with the kal and the chomer. I'm telling you a separate piece on the side why you're not able to go to. Why you're not able to go, and that's why it's not kal v'chomer. The is a lot of is kal v'chomer, kal v'chomer she'elo tshuva, and this is a kal v'chomer which I can't have an answer. Let's summarize the Gemara last bit. Okay. So the main bit, I'm just going to take out the bit that we had in the Mishnah. A person shouldn't go into a toilet which is arai, which is with his tefillin. Whether we had a statement from Rava who said in the name of Rav Sheishes that the halacha is not like this Mishnah, and it's Beis Shammai. Because if it's Beis Hillel, I've got a kasha, a fantastic kasha. If Beis Hillel lets you to go into a normal toilet, yeah, with your tefillin, of course you're going to be able to go to a place where you just has to urinate. It doesn't make sense. Basically, right. And then we said, in this price, we also said there was a case where Beis Hillel was lenient, where he was not at a place where he was lenient, he was he made it also in another place. Now we thought at first this would be talking about the tefillin, and that made sense when it was talking about the tefillin if we said it was Beis Hillel. But then we sidelined, we said, you know what it must be talking about? It must be talking about, we've got two other brises. One brise said when you go to a bathroom, you can reveal yourself a tefach from behind and two tefachim in front. The next brise came along and said you can only reveal yourself at the front. So we were saying, first of all, we thought, what was this brise talking about? The brise was talking both about a man. And the Gemara says, if we're talking about a man, yeah, and he's doing number one, why doesn't he have to reveal himself from the back? So we said, no, it's talking about a woman. A woman, one's about a woman. When a person reveals himself from his front and his back is when he goes to be excused. A man. But a woman is talking about that. But then we said this doesn't make sense in our Mishnah. I've got a case, now I have got a case. In one case it's mut, in the other case to reveal yourself it's also. I have found you that case. But we took out from the hat something else. There has to be a kal v'chomer. And the kal v'chomer doesn't make sense over here because this is the normal way how a person goes to the bathroom. There's no kal v'chomer going away. So it's a chufta on Rava in the name of Rav Sheshes. So what did we do? So then we came back and we said, must be talking about the tefillin. And he said, well, but, we got a question. It's fantastic. How can it be that Beis Hillel will say that you can go into a toilet which is kavua with your tefillin, but you can't go in a toilet which is a temporary toilet to pass water? It just doesn't make sense. So he said, no, there is a reason what's going on. What's the reason? When a person passes water, there could come along and some droplets can go on his feet and things like that, and therefore he needs to have his hands when he finishes. You can't hold your tefillin when you do that, because you have to wipe yourself, because of the chashash that people will think you don't have your own children. So there's a reason. And he said, but the kal v'chomer still stands. If we look about the kal v'chomer, if a person can use one toilet with his tefillin, the other, he could go in the other toilet. So the kal v'chomer remains, but the reason is different.